Me and my wife have, you know, several hundred miles now under our belt on this bike, and I figured I'd just take a few minutes here and talk about kind of my thoughts on how this bike performs stock. Now, hey there, YouTube. Dubs Rider here, and I just got done dropping my wife off to work, and figured I would do a vlog on the way home here. I wanted to talk about riding 2-up on this bike, because I've had a number of questions come through on how this bike does with 2-up, maybe some longer distances, and me and my wife have, you know, several hundred miles now under our belt on this bike, and I figured I'd just take a few minutes here and talk about kind of my thoughts on how this bike performs stock. Now, I don't have the passenger backrest yet. That should be in sometime in the next week or so. I'll have that, and that'll make it far more comfortable for her. But I wanted to talk about how the actual bike performs, and so I wanted to go through a few things here. Suspension is kind of where I wanted to start, and I'll talk about the negatives first here. But the suspension seems very wallowy, and I know you can jack up the preload, and it might help out with that a little bit, but I really don't feel that there's enough adjustability in the suspension on this, at least stock. I'd like to see a little bit more adjustability, or even some aftermarket options maybe, because I think that's one of the problems that most people run into with any stock bike, is that the suspension is not really set up the way you would prefer it. And when I'm riding 2-up, I want it to be very, very stiff, and this one I think tries to soak up the bumps a little bit too much, and it doesn't quite give me the control that I like to have when I'm riding 2-up. You know, riding right now, I'm fine. There's no issues with the suspension, aside from it still is a little less firm than I would like it. But again, with that neutral thing, I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm gonna have to take this in and get it looked at. But so the suspension to me is a little bit too soft for a 2-up ride. And just as a point of reference, I've got 40 psi in the front and about 41 psi in the back, and so that's a point of reference at least for you for air pressure, because I know air pressure has a lot to do with the performance of a bike when you're riding 2-up. But I mean, it's not horrible by any means, don't get me wrong, but I just would like it to be a little firmer, sit up a little higher when you're riding 2-up. I think that would make it perform a little bit better. The next thing I want to talk about was the motor. And riding 2-up, my wife and myself, going about highway speeds, about 70 miles an hour. I'm rated about 3.5 RPMs, so it's not bad by any means. There's not a whole lot of vibrations or anything. It's actually pretty decent. I still wish there was a 6th gear in here. That's one of the things that I think would have made this an almost damn perfect motorcycle, would be a 6th gear. But I understand why Honda did what they did with that, because they probably had a lot more testing in a 5-speed gear, being that it's in that same touring class with that 6B and the Goldwing. I don't know if it's got a very similar transmission or not, but that's probably why they did what they did with the transmission, so that they could use a tried and true transmission to put in here. So but I don't really think that the motor has any issues at all. I do notice going into a headwind, it does give I mean, that's with any motorcycle though. I think you're going into a headwind, you're gonna notice a little bit decrease in performance. I don't think anybody's really gonna buy this bike because they want it to perform like a sports bike. So just keep that in mind. You are gonna notice a difference, as you probably will on any motorcycle, but I really don't think that the RPMs or that the engine is working any harder riding 2-up. As far as handling goes, if anything, I feel that it's a little bit more solid 2-up, as that must be the added weight. I have started to notice that hitting bumps and stuff, though it soaks them up really well when it's just me on the motorcycle, when it's both me and my wife, the bike just feels more solid hitting those bumps. Yeah, I'm trying to think about anything else. The windshield does pretty good. She hasn't had any complaints for her riding back there, with the exception of the backrest. That's about the only thing she's complained about, and you know, for now I've kind of fixed that with my Cortex 2.0 tail bag that I put back there, so that she just has the semblance that she's got, you know, a feeling that something's behind her there. So yeah, I don't think she's really got any issues with that at all. And I'll probably do a quick review on the backrest, and do a little walk around when I get that put on, so everybody can see what that looks like. So, but yeah, I just want to kind of talk a little bit more about riding 2-up on this bike now that I've been able to put several hundred miles on the bike riding 2-up. So if you guys have any other questions on it or anything, let me know. But until next time, ride safe, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.